All right, in this video, we are going to go over setting up our DH211 hydrothermograph to actually read a value of our temperature humidity and then either turn on a fan or actually use the servo to open up a vent. Okay, so let us first start by creating another forever statement. First one that we're going to do is our temperature sensor. So we're going to actually need to go to our logic and we're going to use an if else statement block. Okay, so if our temperature is above a certain value or below a certain value, we want our fans to turn on. Okay, so we're going to need to go to logic and we're going to go ahead and grab one of these statements and we actually want to change it to greater than. So if our temperature is greater than a certain value. So we're going to go to our hydrothermograph. So we're going to put that in our statement there. So if value of our temperature sensor in Fahrenheit at pin, you got to remember to write pin 0 is greater than, we're going to say, I'm looking at my sensor right now and it's 72.5 or 75.2. So we're just going to say 70 degrees. Okay, again, you can have fun mapping these values with the conditions of yours and where it's located, but I want this to actually turn the fan on. So we're going to go and to our pins and grab the pin digital right. And this is where we plugged in our fan too. So our fan was plugged into pin 9. So we're going to have that be a value 1. Then we're going to duplicate it and then have it be a 0. So I'm going to download this. And we're going to see, it's going to go ahead, and you can see our temperature is 72.3. Just initiated here. So our fan just kicked on. Okay, so again, my temperature is above 70. So it's on. Okay. So now let's do the same thing with our sensor, but actually have it be our humidity. So I'm a big fan of shortcuts here. So we're going to duplicate this. Okay, now we're going to change this to humidity. And now we're actually not using a digital write pin. So we're going to get rid of them. We'll go back down to pins. We're actually using a servo write. And the servo write pins are a little bit different here. So first of all, let's get into our right pin. It was pin 13. And we're going to have this first one be 100 and this second one be 0. And these numbers I had to mess around with to get my awning to open up, the vent to open up. So you might want to play with those numbers a little bit. And I'm going to say, looking at my humidity, it's about 17 right now. So I'm going to say anything above 30. Again, your sensors are going to be different. So your numbers are going to have to be mapped to work with yours. Let's go ahead and download this. Turn on the fan. Now I need to get my moisture sensor above 30. So I'm going to have to breathe on it. Almost at 25. As soon as I hit 30, that's going to open. Oh no, just opened. Right, so if I look down, humidity is way higher. Okay, and my awning opened up. So I'm going to go back to my code and I'm going to set it to 20 because it took forever to get that thing to open up. So I changed this value to 20. I'm going to go ahead and re-download that. You can see here I just re-downloaded it and my sensors are reading 32 and 0. Like I said, sometimes when this needs to cycle a few times to work. If it doesn't work with after like 3 or 4 cycles, just re-download it. Do it one more time here. So we're just going to try to download it one more time. I just moved a little bit of the wires. Sometimes it's a connection. So we're going to go ahead here. It's turning on, it's initializing. I'm at 19, which is really close to where I want to be. So if I move my camera, you can see both of them. You'll be able to see this. There we go. So opened up. Just add some. So there we go. Now we still have one more sensor to do, and that's going to be our moisture sensor. So our moisture sensor um, is going to look similar to this here in an if-else statement. So let's go ahead and grab a forever block. And then I'll use my if-else, okay? And I'll need a operator or a comparison tool. Okay, and I want this one to be less than. So I'm going to go grab my variable moisture sensor. I want it to be less than, again, this, you want to look at your value here. So we want to see what, right now it's 75 when it's dry. So I'm just going to say 65 arbitrarily because if it's wetter than, if it's wet at, or if it's dry at 75 and it's wet, the number is going to go up. Or sorry, it's going to go down. So then we're going to digital write. So go down to your pins, digital write, basically what our pump is. So our water pump is in port 16. We'll duplicate this, change this to 1, so it's going to turn on. Okay, let's go ahead and download it. So I'm going to take my moisture sensor, and I want to get it wet. I'm going to take this wet off, and instantly turn my pump on. So I take it off, it's dry. Okay, I'm going to turn it back on. Instantly turns it on. So that one worked pretty good. So now I